Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for this overview and playthrough of Into the Dark Dungeon, Silver Mine. And this is a new game which was recently funded on Kickstarter and has now delivered to backers and is, I believe, available. It's from Paramyth Games, and you can get this game on paramythgames.com, I think. Maybe elsewhere as well, I'm not really sure, but I'm sure you can track it down if you like the look of it. The designer is Gerasimos Kologoratos. I hope I've got that right. But before I go any further, can I ask you to consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the bell notification icon if you want to see more adventures just like this one. Now, up until now, Paramyth Games, I believe, has only done print and play games. They've got a couple of roll and write games, one of which, Void Intentions, I covered previously here on the channel. So if you like roll and write games, that might be worth checking out. There'll be a link up in the corner of the screen right about now, and in the description down below to my playthrough of that game. But today we're going to be looking at Into the Dark Dungeon, and this is a game that provides a fairly full-featured and self-contained dungeon delving experience. It's the kind of game where you have a town as a base and you take a character or a group of characters into a nearby dangerous location in the hope of improving that character, getting some loot, and generally leveling up as you go. So I'm going to do a small series of playthroughs, I think, of this game. We will do a delve with our character. Hopefully it will be successful and that character will come out alive having completed their quest. Once you've done that, there's various things you can do to improve the character. So we've got the quest master, the merchant, the mystic, the innkeeper, who are all individuals you can visit when you go into town. We've also got the tree down here where you can sort of select a path for your character and differentiate them and give them certain skills based upon the chosen path. There's a lot to look at, but it's all very straightforward and accessible, and it all fits into this lovely little box. You can see it's not a game that's going to take up a massive amount of room on your shelf, and given the compact size of the box, there's a lot of game that you get. And if we look at the list on the back here, the game has 186 cards, 120 cubes, and a whole bunch of tokens. So it's very impressive that so many cards and so many cubes have been included in a game that has such a small footprint, such a small shelf space footprint. And you can see here's all the cubes here. Loads and loads of cubes. Some of the cubes have iconography on them, and these are the ones that are used in the dungeon location to represent the different characters. And there's a whole bunch that I've got off to one side that are for representing the enemies that have different icons on, so you can associate the enemies with each other and you know which is which when you're in the dungeon. So that's kind of cool. It's a nice little touch. I like those icons. I think they look kind of funky. The two dice you get as well. I mean, we just got D6 here, but they're nice. I like them. I like the choice of colours. You've got gold and a nice dark red. It's all very pleasing. So yeah, sorry, I was talking about the box. Let me just finish that up. The box is lovely. It has got Gerasimos's art on the front, and their art goes throughout the game. We'll take a closer look at the art in a second, because it really is one of the best things about this game. If I could just get this box open. Okay, you can see as we're opening it, the inner box has got art all the way round. So that's kind of cool as well. And then when you get it open, we've got a lovely interior space. I'd forgotten about this reference here. I think all of that is on reference cards anyway. And then you've got the map on the base here as well of the area in which the adventure takes place. So I think the town is Crossroads, where you can go and visit people. And then the silver mine, obviously, is the location that we're going to be delving into. And the fact that we've got other locations on this map as well makes me hopeful that the intention is to expand this world and to create more locations in which we can go. But I like that. I like the use of the interior of the box. That's very pleasing. It's like a nice box, and that is definitely a nice box. Right, so let's do a sort of a waffly overview of what we've got here. There will be timestamps in the description down below if you want to just start watching the play of the game, and no doubt you can do that and get a decent sense of how the game plays. But for everybody else, let's take a little look at what we've got going on here. So we'll come to the dungeon in a moment. Maybe we'll look at that last. What we've got down here is our character. And a character has certain stats, as you would imagine. The cubes represent the current value for each of these stats for our warrior, who is going to be our character for this playthrough. But let's have a look at one of the other characters in order to discuss. You've got the character's attack value, and you add this when you do combat rolls. Then you've got their move value, and that's the number of squares they can move in a round of play. Then you've got their current torch value. So somebody has to have a torch. Somebody has to be holding a torch. And if that goes out, then things get a bit more messy. And then finally, we have got their current life. So the wizard starts on 6, and obviously if they go down to 0, it is game over. The torch value is depleted when we go onto a new dungeon card, so that will gradually decrease over time. And it is also used when you do loot rolls, but we'll get into that in a minute. So thank you, wizard. That's our character. Our character can hold 3 items. If I was playing with 2 characters or 3 characters or 4 characters, we wouldn't get 3 items per character. I've only got 3 items because I've chosen to play with 1 character for the time being. So what we've got is a torch. That can be used to increase our torch attribute. So that is handy to sort of top up your current torch, I suppose. We've got a master key that can unlock all doors and chests, and we can use that twice. And then we've got some tools, which, as you would imagine, or as you might guess if you have played games like this before, is used to either unlock a door, a chest, but it can also disarm a trap, and that can be used once. So we've got those things. They're quite handy. Over here we've got our current quest, and you can see that you're reminded that this is the location where you put it by this little banner here that joins up. And the quest that I have chosen is Headhunter. This is an easy quest, and the aim of the game here is just to collect 4 heads. If we look over here, we can see that completing an easy quest will reward us with 5 coins. Over here, we've got our stash, and I think I can store coins and books in there and possibly additional items. I haven't quite wrapped my head around that yet. So this is sort of your stash in town, as it were. And we've got this little area here where we track titles. And the aim here is to increase your title by completing increasingly challenging missions. So if we complete an easy mission, we'll gain the title of Vagabond. After that will be a Seeker. Medium missions will gain us Pathfinder and Adventurer titles. And then finally, if we were to complete 2 hard missions, we would become an Explorer and ultimately a Hero. So gaining those titles allows you to unlock paths. We'll look at those later if we get to that point. Looking at the other things we've got on camera here, we've got our quest master who will give us quests, and also we can go to sort of cash in our quests once we've completed them. We've got a little stack of quests here. You can either select them randomly or you can select one that you want to do. I've selected the Headhunter since it is an easy quest and we're just starting out, but you know, if you wanted to, you could go straight in on a difficult quest. We've also got a merchant. The items stack is the largest stack of stuff, and I think that is really because we're accommodating potentially additional players, because this is a game you can have 4 characters playing at once and 4 players each controlling those characters if you wish. So there's a lot of repetition in here. We've got strength potions, more master keys, some silver coins, torches, runes, which you can attach to different things to improve their ability, health potions. So you've got a lot of the sort of stuff that you would expect. So already you can see that this is a game that will have a little bit of longevity, because we've got different quests you can do. We've got a nice big stack of items that you can loot and buy and sell. On top of that, we've also got this stack of books that we can purchase from the Mystic. These are quite pricey. A tier 1 book costs 20 coins. So for example, we've got the trader book here, and the trader book, when selling items to a merchant, you gain extra 2 coins per item. When buying, you get 2 coins discount per item, so that's pretty handy. Favoured enemy, that's cool. For the loot, mirror image, flee combat. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of additional abilities that you can gain through the purchasing of books. Then we've got the innkeeper, and the innkeeper has a bunch of rumours. Go to the inn, you can cross the innkeeper's hand with a couple of coins and gain a rumour as a result. So here there's a rumour that there are traps at every step in the silver mine. First 3 turns, -1 to movement. Oh, is that a bad rumour? I think it is. Alright, so I guess some of the rumours are good and some of the rumours are bad, maybe? I haven't looked at them yet. There's not that many. There's 6 rumours, so hopefully some of them are good. I'm sure they are. And finally you've got these paths here, which again I haven't looked at too closely, but there is an associated title, so you can't take on this path until you become a vagabond. And this one here, Path of the Shield. Your skin hardens like stone. This is stone form that it gives you. So I think that means you get 3 extra health, and you're able to absorb 2 hits. So I'm not 100% sure how paths work, but you can get those at some point if you get to that point. Over here we've got a few reference cards. Off camera we've got the dungeon cards. There's a decent pile of those. And then finally we've got the enemy cards. There's not too many of those. 12 to be exact. And then we've also got boss cards. And there's 4 different bosses that we can encounter. For example, we've got the warg here. I'm not going to show the other ones just yet. Okay. Right, with all that said and all that done, I think probably we should just dive in to making a start playing the game. So I'm just going to move the camera Am I going to move the camera closer? No, maybe I won't. We'll leave the camera where it is and we will just make a start. Alright, so here we are. I've moved the dungeon tile, the entrance card, over to the left of the play area here, because we won't be going back that way probably, or be less likely to go back that way than we will be to go this way. Fairly quiet first room. We've got some loot over in the corner here. We'll be representing that loot with a white cube, and when it has been looted, then that cube will be removed. So this room is going to be fairly straightforward because there's no enemies in the room. And that just means we can move around without worrying about enemy movement and stuff like that. So our move score is 4, which means we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. At which point, if there were any enemies in the room as well, they would then sort of converge on us, and we would be forced into a combat situation. But there's no one else here, so we can just carry on. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we are next to the loot. And actually, now that I think about it, do I want to collect the loot? I suppose I could automatically spend my torch to increase my torch value to 4. That might be a good idea. Then we can get rid of that, and then we have a space. Because remember, we can only carry 3 things at the moment. But I do think that if we looked in this sack, because that's what it is, if we looked in there and we didn't want to pick that item up, I think we can just leave the item there, and it can be collected later or be collected by someone else if we were playing with other people. But let's find out what's in it first, shall we? We're going to roll a die. Oh, okay, so sacks only contain coins anyway. So let's roll a die and see how many coins we get. 2, that gives us a grand total of 1 coin. Not particularly thrilling. So we've got a single coin there, I'll pop that there. And then we can carry on. So remember, our quest here is to collect 4 heads. We are currently a headhunting warrior. So we're going to go over this way, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would take us to this point. Now we need to move into a new area of the dungeon. So I'm going to turn over a card, and we could put it that way round, or we could put it that way round. Let's put it this way round. And on this new card we have got some loot over in the corner there, and we've also got a trap. So for the trap we're going to pop a grey cube there. So if we want to go that way, we would have to either trigger or disarm that trap. But first of all, let's go check out that loot, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and when you go into a new area, onto a new card, we need to reduce our torch value by 1. Now, if all the torches are spent, if we've run out of torch value, that means that, first of all, we can't run. Running is moving quickly. I'm sure you're aware of that already. It means you can move at your standard movement pace plus 2. If it's dark, you can no longer do that. Also, if your torch value runs out, a boss enters the dungeon. So a boss will come in through the entrance and I think start moving towards us. I'm pretty sure that they move towards us. And so I suppose we want to try and avoid that, but if we can't avoid it, then we can't avoid it. Anyway, shall we have a look at this loot? What have we got here? It looks like we've got a chest. So a chest, we can use a master key or tools to unlock it. Take 2 item cards, keep 1, and place the other on the discard pile, then take 1 coin. So that is pretty cool. Let's do it, shall we? I'm going to use my master key, and we will take 2 items. We'll have a coin first. So we're up to 2 coins, and we'll have a look at 2 items from the pile. And we've got a health potion and a torch. Oh, I want both those things. I think I might go for a torch for the time being, so we can delay that boss coming in a little bit more, and then we will carry on. So I don't see any reason to trigger that trap just yet. I might as well go up here and just go into a new area. So that is what we'll do. We'll spend our torch card in order to go into that new area, and here it is. So I think the cards have to go long ways. I can't start doing that. And there's no entrance on that side, so it's got to be this way. Looks like we've got a tomb in here. I'm not sure what that means, but we have got another trap. So we'll mark that there. And we'll go up to it, because we're going to have to deal with a trap somewhere now, so we might as well deal with a trap there. And a tomb, it turns out, is another lootable location. So we're being quite lucky not coming across any enemies here. But maybe not lucky when you think that the aim of our challenge here is to collect heads. So if we don't find enemies, we can't complete our quest. But we've got to deal with this trap. And looking at the trap rules here in the rulebook, they do look pretty rough. Now obviously we could use our tools to disarm it, and maybe we'll just do that. Because the alternative is to roll a dice, and on a 1, 2, 3 or 4 something rubbish happens. A 5 is a bit rubbish but not too bad, and you have to roll a 6 to successfully evade the trap in the most positive way. So I think I'm just going to use my tools on this occasion. So we'll use the tools, they'll be done, but the trap will be out of the way. And we can carry on and check out this tomb and see what's in it. Ooh, oh okay, I see. So we're going to roll 1d6 and our torch value. Oh, we should have done that for the chest? No, you don't do that for the chest. So you have to do a loot roll for crates, barrels and tombs. So we're going to roll 1d6 and add our torch attribute and hope for a value of 8. Ah, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 8, unfortunately. So that means we have failed. And I think that means you find nothing. So we can't have another go at looting that tomb in the future. We've opened that tomb and we have failed to find anything of value. So that is unfortunate. Alright, let's keep pushing on. Should we go back this way? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can keep on going. Reveal a new room. Alright, and it looks like we've got our first enemy here. Alright, so we're going to use one of the enemy cubes with a little icon on there. We're going to draw our first enemy, and it is a goblin guard. And we're going to put the matching cube on there. Probably not necessary at this stage, but that is the process in order to keep track of which enemy is which, so we might as well do it. And I think we're just going to barrel straight in and attack this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4 brings us right up next to the goblin guard. And let's just take a quick look at the goblin guard. A starting attack value of +0, so won't be adding any on to their attack dice. Movement of 4. A torch value of 0. Now the torch value is used to dictate whether multiple enemies will come into this fight. So if the guard had a torch value of 1 or 2, that means that after the first round of combat, some of his friends would turn up and join in the combat. Or at least that's my understanding of it at this stage. And a health value of 3. So like the rest of this game, combat is very straightforward. We're going to roll both dice. The gold one will represent our attack, and the red one will represent the enemy's attack. We'll then add on our respective attack values. So I'm adding on +1 and the goblin's adding on 0. And then the individual with the highest value succeeds in the attack, and the individual who lost reduces their life by 1. And that's it really. We can choose to flee if we want. That means that the enemy is carrying an item, so we'll pop the item over here, ready to claim when and if we manage to defeat the goblin guard. Let's have a go. Ooh, 5 for us, 6 for the enemy. We're adding on +1, which means that it's a dead draw at 6. So our weapons clash. We both take a step back, and we have to continue. Unless one of us wants to flee. And then we're going to carry on. So let's have another go at another round of combat. Oh, it's exactly the same. So 2, 3, we're adding on +1. So it's a clash. Oh no, 1, 4. So we're adding on 1. So it's 2 for us and 4 for the goblin guard. Which means we're going down by 1 health. Oh dear. We're not going to be collecting many heads at this rate. That is another successful hit for the goblin guard. I should probably have a cube of some kind to represent their health, being hopeful that we will at some point land a blow on them. So just to clarify the torch multiple enemies appearing rule a little bit, my understanding is that if we flee to this combat, or if there was another enemy over here that we weren't fighting right now, after we finish this combat, it would become the dungeon's turn, which we haven't done up until now, because up until now there haven't been any enemies around. At that point, if there was another enemy and that enemy had a torch value, another enemy would appear with that enemy. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, then seeing it in practice hopefully will clear it up. But we're going to carry on with this combat and hope that little pause we had there is improving our chances. Aha! 2 for us. Adding on 1 is 3. That is enough to take the Goblin Guard down to 2 points of health. 6 for the enemy, so that's taking us down to 5 health. 1 each. Pretty unlucky rolling here for our warrior. 1 each, but obviously +1 for us, so that is a victory for us, taking the Goblin Guard down to 1. And big finish, 6 each. Powerful hit from both of us, but obviously we're adding on +1, so we win, and the Goblin Guard is defeated. And that is our first head collected for our Headhunter quest. We can look to see what item we're getting, and it is a weapon. That's good news. A Warhammer, which gives us +1 health. Yeah, I think that's what that means. So it's not giving us an advantage in attack, but it is giving us +1 health. And the other advantage of having a weapon is that you can attach runes to a weapon, which might further improve it still. So I suppose I can increase my health, or at least I'm going to say that I can increase my health +1 right now. No, let's... Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I guess that's improving our max health. So our max health was 8, it is now 9, thanks to the Warhammer, and will increase our current health by 1 as well, I think. Not too sure about that, but that'll do. Alright, when we came onto this card, I forgot to mark that trap. And I forgot to mark that loot. And actually, I forgot to mark this little barrel down here. Not that we can get to it, but we should probably mark it on anyway. And I feel like we should mark this locked door in some way as well. Maybe I'll use this green cube for the time being. I feel like you just need to mark on the door so that we can remove that cube when we've unlocked it, and we'll know which doors are locked and which have been unlocked. I think I forgot to mark on that chest as well, didn't I? So we've got a couple of loot items in here that we can check out before we carry on. Did we move the torch down? Oh man, I'm forgetting all sorts, aren't I? I'm pretty certain we didn't move the torch down when we came onto this card. Hopefully that's okay now. Fingers crossed. Let's do some looting. What have we got here? A chest. So we need a master key or tools to unlock it. Okay, so we'll use our other master key, I guess. So we are out of useful items completely. We do get a coin, and then we can pick between 2 items. We've got a backpack or a backpack. Alright, well that's handy, I suppose. I think that increases the number of items you can carry to 6, including the backpack, so essentially 5. But we don't have any other items at the moment, but we can move over here. Check out this. That's just a satchel or a sack, whatever it's called. So that's just coins. 3 coins though, that's pretty awesome. Up to 6 coins, starting to look a little bit better. I'm thinking recovery costs 5 coins, rumours cost 2, buying a torch costs 4, which seems quite expensive if the torch only increases your torch value by 1. I'm not sure about that. I might have to do a bit of internet research between videos. But let's go over here. So we're going to make our way all the way back over there, and we're going to reveal a new card. Alright, and we've got an enemy. Good. And we've got a little bit of loot. So let's find out what the enemy is. A plague rat that comes with 1 coin if we destroy it. And we'll pop it on there. Then we'll mark on these items of loot. Take our torch down by 1. So that means if we go into a new area, having not found a new torch, then the boss will appear. And I don't think we're in a position to be fighting a boss yet, would be my suspicion. I haven't taken a close look at them, but that would be my suspicion. So let's have a go at fighting this plague rat. Just going to move straight up to it. Here we go. And it's only got 1 health, so not too bad. Oh, that was a 2. That was a 4, so we easily defeat the plague rat. I'm assuming plague rats can count towards our headhunter quest. Maybe I should check. Might not. Yeah, the headhunter unfortunately is just goblins, so the plague rat does not count. That is unfortunate, but at least we get a coin, I suppose. And then we can carry on. Let's just check out this loot here, and then I think we will pause and carry on in another video. That rat can go. We'll move over here. Oh, it's just a coin purse. So roll our dice. And 6, that means we get 3 coins. That's pretty awesome. So I can change that up for a 10. And all of a sudden it feels like we have a decent amount of coins. Alright, I'm going to decide what to do next between now and the next video. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. That was the first part of our playthrough of Into the Dark Dungeon, Silver Mine from Paramyth Games. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this one. We didn't really talk about the artwork, but I love the artwork in this game. Maybe we'll take a closer look at a couple of the cards at the start of the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.